You are at the bathroom mirror at 6 in the morning, that light over it buzzing the way it always do, and you got the comb in your hand already. 3 things. The hair at the front of your head is shorter than the hair in the back, and it has been a good while now. There is a little pile of broken pieces down in the sink, and there is a pile every morning, and when you run your thumb toward the ends, they catch. Now, it is very likely nothing is wrong with your hair. The routine that would settle all 3 of those is one your grandmother already knew, and you were taught to quit doing it. My name is Dorothy Banks. I am 71. I live in Memphis, Tennessee, and for 34 years I ran an alterations shop on Lamar Avenue, holding cloth up to a lamp to find where it was giving out before anybody could see it tear. I never did hair for a living. My grandmother did. Pearl Mabry did hair in her kitchen in Yazoo City, Mississippi, on Saturday nights for 40 years, and I stood at her elbow from the time I was big enough to hand her a clip. Cloth and hair are the same problem in different clothes. Both fail where they get handled. 7 things today. Every one is cheap or free, and the first one does not cost a dime. Now about that word banned, because I am not selling you a conspiracy. Wasn't nothing secret about a woman tying her head. These things were not hidden from us. They were punished out of us, and that is heavier. Schools wrote dress codes naming braids and cornrows as not permitted, and girls got sent home over their own hair. Workplaces wrote grooming standards about what was professional, and a head covering was not it, and a woman who kept on anyway got passed over quiet. And don't nobody ever put in writing why. Out of these 7, 1 was truly written down and forbidden, and I will tell you which. The rest were shamed, then marketed out from under us. They did not have to take a thing from us. They only had to make it cost something. Now, that basin. Fall of 1964. I was 9, taking down my own plaits in a hurry because it was still light outside. Dry hair, dry comb, and I started at the scalp and pulled straight down. My grandmother came in behind me and never said a word. She took that comb, turned it up under the lamp, ran her thumb across the teeth, and there was a little gray nest packed in there, and when she pulled it loose it made a sound like a zipper coming open. She did not scold me. My grandmother, she never raised her voice at me one time. She wet the section in the basin, took the very ends between her fingers, and worked 1 inch at a time going up. 5 minutes, where it took me 40 seconds. Then she laid both combs side by side on the newspaper. Mine had that nest in it. Hers had 6 hairs, and she said, hair break where you handle it, that is the whole of it. And all 7 of these things is that one sentence wearing a different hat. Number 1, tying your head at night. Y'all call it a bonnet now, or a satin scarf. In that house, there wasn't a grown woman who got in the bed with her head bare, a square of satin over the top, tied at the nape, hair smoothed flat underneath. Here is why it worked. Cotton is thirsty. Cotton was made to drink. That is why we put it next to our skin, and it will pull the water and the oil right out your hair while you sleep. And cotton drags. You turn your head how many times in a night, and every one is a little sanding. What replaced it was sleeping loose so it has some body in the morning, and the cheap bonnet with cotton on the inside, which is just the pillowcase moved closer. Tonight, tie it. No scarf. Put a satin pillowcase on that pillow. Every night, not the nights you remember. The next one happens in the 10 minutes after you wash, and most of us pour it down the drain. Number 2, the vinegar rinse. A label today might say acidic rinse, and you will not hear this one said out loud much anymore. A jar of cider vinegar lived by the basin, and after the last rinse she poured a cup of cool water with a good splash in it over your head and worked it through. The reason is plain chemistry. Soap is alkaline. Our water was hard, and alkaline water swells the hair and lifts those little scales on the outside so they stand open. Open scales feel rough, look dull, and catch on the hair beside them, and where hair catches it breaks. Something acid brings it back down. The scales lay flat, and the mineral film lets go. It smooths, and that is all it does. It will not moisturize, and it will not grow your hair, and anybody says different is selling it. What replaced it was clarifying shampoo, which takes your oil along with the film, and silicone conditioner, which coats the roughness until it builds up and you need the clarifying again. You are paying both ends of a circle. Tonight, 2 tablespoons in 2 cups of cool water, poured over last, once a week. The next one ain't about what you put on. It is about what order. Number 3. Wetting the head before you grease it. You would search ceiling now. She did not ever grease a dry head. Not one time. The water came first. Out that bottle she be keeping on the sill, and the grease went on behind it while the hair was still damp. This is the piece that got dropped, and it is why a great many of y'all have hair that is greasy and dry at the same time. Oil is not a drink. Oil is a lid. Water is the only thing that makes hair soft, and the whole job of the grease is to slow that water leaving. Lid on a full pot, you keep what is in it. Lid on an empty pot, you got nothing but a dirty lid. What replaced it was oil sold to us as a moisturizer, in a pretty bottle, with instructions to smooth it on dry. Tonight, spray bottle of plain water, damp, not soaking, then a pea of oil in your palms, ends first, scalp last. Now this next one is the one they wrote down. Number 4, getting it put up, and leaving it be. Braids, cornrows, twists. Saturday night, a head got parted and braided and did not get touched again until the next Saturday. Take-down day was its own day. In between, you oiled the scalp on a Wednesday, tied it at night, and that was the sum of your dealings with it. The ends of your hair are the oldest hair on your head. Years old, been through every wash and every comb and every hot thing you ever put on it, and it cannot be replaced, only kept. Every time you comb it out and put it up and take it down, you spend a little. One style left alone 2 weeks spends it once instead of 14 times. And this is where banned is the honest word. Cornrows and braids were written into school dress codes as not permitted, and named in workplace grooming policies. Children put out of school over them. Grown women lost positions over them. And these last few years, states have had to pass actual laws saying a school cannot send a child home over her braids. When a thing has to be made legal again, you know good and well what it was before. Tonight, if you cannot braid a head, 2 big flat twists before bed, and take them out in the morning. Now, the next one is the same hair on the same night, and it is where most of it gets lost. Number 5, taking it down wet, starting at the ends. This one catches women off guard because it is backwards from what you were taught. You never met a dry knot with a comb in that house. 2 reasons, and both physical. Dry coiled hair will not stretch. It is brittle, and brittle snaps instead of bending. And a comb dragged from the scalp down pushes every tangle ahead of itself into one hard knot at the bottom, then breaks straight through it. Coming up from the ends, you only ever meet one at a time. Hair break where you handle it, and this is the exact minute of the week you handle it most. What replaced it was brushing dry, and now a detangling brush run top to bottom, which is the same old mistake with a nicer handle. Tonight, 4 sections, water and a little conditioner, fingers then a wide tooth comb, ends going up. Now the next one is not something you do. It is something you quit doing. Number 6, washing less and washing with the pads of your fingers. Not many tell you this one straight. Wash day was a day, once a week, sometimes once every 10 days, and it was not something you did before work. On a straight hair, the oil your own scalp makes slides down and coats the whole thing. On a hair that turns a corner every quarter inch, it does not get far past the root. So coiled ends start off dry by how the hair is built, and then strong detergent strips what little made it down there. And the nails, scratching a scalp, leaves it raw scalp scabs, and the scab comes off with hair in it. I will grant this much. Heavy grease and sweat, you do have to wash. Every 7 to 10 days is a schedule. Every other day is a stripping. What replaced it was daily lather and squeaky clean, which is a phrase meaning you have removed everything. Tonight, pads of the fingers, warm and not hot, once a week. Now the last one is not your hair at all. Number 7, your face. Quit picking at it. The long name today is post-inflammatory hyperpigmentation. My grandmother handled it by slapping my hand down. Dark skin answers injury with pigment. Every scrub with grit in it. Every squeeze, every hot rag. The skin reads a wound and sends color. So the bump lasts a week, and the mark lasts a year. And the mark is what you actually see. Wasn't the pimple that marked your face. It was your hands. Her way was a soft cloth, plain water, a little grease over it, hands down, and time, what replaced it, was scrubs full of grit, and then fade creams to fix the marks the scrubs made. And here is the honest ending. Some of those lightning creams came with mercury in them, and creams still come in from overseas with mercury in them and get pulled when somebody catches it. Hydroquinone, the strongest fader they sold us, you cannot pick up off a shelf in this country now. It takes a doctor. So the thing that finally got banned was what they sold us to replace her. Tonight, hands down. Warm cloth 1 time. Give a mark 3 months. Now, honey, a few things before you go do any of this. Vinegar always gets diluted, never straight from the jar, never on a scalp that is broken or sore, and keep it out your eyes. Lemon on your face, and then sun will leave a darker mark than the one you started with, so use vinegar instead. Relaxed or colored hair is already weakened and cannot take heat on top of it, so pick one and leave the other alone. And on braids, tight and hurting are 2 different things, and one you wear 2 weeks, and the other you take down tonight. Little bumps along the hairline mean it is pulling too hard. I had a customer come in my shop with a row of them across her front like seed beads, and by the next year that line was bare skin. Pain has never once been the price. Now, what none of this will do. And sister, I want to be square with you. Not one of these 7 will regrow hair coming out at the root. They keep the hair you got. That is a different job. And anybody promising you the second one out of a kitchen is lying. Breaking off and coming out at the root are 2 different troubles, and one is a kitchen problem, and the other is a doctor problem. Here is how you tell tonight. Pick a piece out that sink and look at the end. A little pale bulb on one end. That hair came out of a follicle. Both ends just ends. It broke. And everything I said applies to you. Go to a doctor if you are shedding by the handful, if you have a smooth bare patch with a clean edge, or if your edges have gone back to the line. Thyroid does this. Anemia does this. Years of tight styles do this, and a dermatologist can catch it while it is still coming back. Now why we stopped. Nobody sat in a room and planned this. It ain't that kind of story. It was made expensive to be yourself, and a thing that costs enough gets put down, and it was our mothers who put it down for us. Look at the money. A jar of vinegar and a satin scarf runs $5 and sees you through a year. A shelf of bottles promising the same runs 40 and is empty in 6 weeks. It's a lot of money behind one of those, and not a dime behind the other, and that is the entire reason you have heard of one. But child, what we lost was not the recipes. It was the room. A kitchen on a Saturday night, somebody's hands in somebody's head, and a girl on the floor with her back against that chair. Nobody teaching her, just watching for 10 years until she knew it in her hands. Take the room, and the knowledge goes on its own, in 1 generation. Let me gather all 7 back up. Tie your head every night, and only satin all the way through. The vinegar rinse, diluted, poured last, and it works on roughness and nothing else. Water before grease, every time. Put it up and leave it 2 weeks, and only if it does not hurt. Take it down wet from the ends up. Wash once a week with the pads of your fingers, and hands off your face. Tonight, do number 1. It costs nothing, takes 40 seconds, and it is the only one of the 7 that works while you are asleep. Then come tell me 2 things. Which of the 7 your mother or grandmother did, and what she called it, because the names change from Memphis to Mississippi to Chicago. And tell me which one you were, the one in the chair getting it done, or the one behind the chair doing it. I learned something off every one of you. Next time, the edges. I told you tight is the danger, and I did not tell you how to know tight before it costs you, and that is a debt I owe you. Pearl Mabry said it in her kitchen in Yazoo City, Mississippi, in the fall of 1964, over an enamel basin, with 2 combs laying side by side on the newspaper. Hair break where you handle it. Now listen, you are not behind, you are not too late, and you did not fail at anything. You are one of the ones who still wants to know how a thing works. Our grandmothers knew it in their hands. We are only now getting it